Atlanta's hip-hop and romantic lovers are having a hard time breathing after what many are calling one of the most embarrassing moments of season 13. The internet is on fire right now. Yandy calmly admits that she formed an emotional bond with another man rather than a romantic relationship, a one-night mistake, or a sexual one. Group chats are booming, blogs are flourishing, and timelines are filled with videos of Mendeecees sitting there with his jaw clenched, his eyes fixed front, and you can literally feel the air leaving the room when he finally says, "That is unacceptable to me." Now let's be clear. We are talking about what reporters are saying online and what viewers are seeing on the show. If what's being shown is any indication, this is more than a minor misunderstanding. It's a reflection on what's happening on screen and the fans' responses. This seems to be a test of marriage in real time. How strong is that emotion? According to the episode, you could be physically present in a marriage but psychologically absent. Everyone is therefore troubled by the question, and emotions were running high at the time of that revelation. After years of romance, rumors, public scrutiny, and legal conflicts, Mendeecees now seems shaken in a way that fans rarely witness. His expression flashes with pride, pain, and confusion. MF is surprised. Some claim that this is karma. Some argue that it's progress and honesty, while others believe that this might be the beginning of something far more important than a simple emotional connection. Is this just reality TV editing? Is this Fisher revealing more serious issues in one of the most talked about marriages in the franchise? Or is the plot being heightened for the cameras? Because there is more to what you are watching than just drama. This relationship is quite unstable if this finding is valid within the program framework. As soon as Yandy's confession concludes, you can actually feel the Mendeecees' position shifting. His shoulders strain and his lips tighten, taking away the carefree spirit that had defined their discourse. There is more going on here than just a married couple conversing. This appears to be a public admission of guilt based on what viewers are seeing and what blogs are writing online. The disagreement was caused by multiple statements. For 4 months, everything had been simmering beneath carefully crafted social media captions and phony smiles. Earlier in the episode, Mendeecees tries to appear calm while sitting on the seaside with a close friend. He talks about the recurring rumors that their marriage isn't as solid as they claim. Greek photos and rumors are circulating. At first, he claims that what they've been saying is false, but his tone isn't as confident as it used to be. There is hesitancy and uncertainty. Additionally, when his friend subtly displays the pictures of Yandy standing a little too close to another man overseas, you can see a spark in his eyes. He continues to shake his head. "That dude is unfamiliar to me. Anger isn't ready yet." The only person who can tell you that is her. The reason is confusion. When answers are delayed, it's the kind of confusion that turns into irritation. Yandy is sat with one of her closest friends in a different circumstance. Her voice reveals weakness despite her composed demeanor. "I didn't sleep with anyone," she explains. "I'm not going to lie about that, but I did feel a connection, as though being honest should lessen the pain." As if transparency could replace betrayal, her pal asks the obvious question. Yandy pauses. "Why didn't you tell him earlier?" "Because this isn't your normal adultery controversy. Sometimes it's simpler to suppress your emotions in silence than to blow apart your entire reality. This has nothing to do with private text messages or hotel rooms being made public." A lot of people are surprised. There is more to this, which is harder to put into words. There was an emotional connection between loneliness and desire. It has a different effect as a result. The energy is incredible when they do get together to discuss music. There are long silences at first, and Mendeecees just stares at her as if trying to figure out who the woman on the other side of him is. She doesn't contest it. "So you were present in person?" He keeps going slowly, but his thoughts are elsewhere. She nods as well. How deep was that nod? It sounds louder than a roar. "Was it just a discussion?" he asks. "Was it just a feeling of comprehension?" Yandy tries to demonstrate that intentionality isn't necessarily the starting point for emotional connection. Sometimes seemingly harmless exchanges can lead to it. She talks about feeling abandoned and yearning for acceptance during a period when their marriage sounded like tense music. She knows that she should have trusted her husband instead of confiding in someone else. His emotions were running high as he responded, "Do you think that makes it better? You think it's not cheating since you didn't physically cross a queue there?" He continues, his voice quivering like melody. The word cheating lingers and she wheezes. I didn't betray you in that way. He shakes his head. You undoubtedly harbored feelings of affection for him. Nevertheless, fans are no longer the point because blogs are no longer the main emphasis and that charge alters everything. It's about the concern that, in contrast to him, she was emotionally moved by someone else's music. It has to do with pride and ownership. In a different situation, their relatives start reacting. When she said that was the cause of the family's breakup, at least one cousin was telling the truth. Another says that being honest after the event doesn't help the pain go away. Some perceive this as growth, while others think it's the beginning of the end. Throughout, Mendeecees is obviously uncomfortable. In a later one-on-one discussion, he admits that he hasn't always been perfect and that he has made mistakes in the past, but he insists that this is not made any easier by his personal history. He whispers, I had already done my dirt. I paid for, but this feels different, he continues. His steely facade faltered for a moment. However, emotional ties are a wake-up call and do not always indicate a desire to quit a marriage, according to Yandy. She says, even though viewers are divided, it showed me the cracks we ignored, and it helped me realize what was missing between us. Rumors concerning voice notes, private chats, and a purported bond that lasted longer than she first acknowledged continue to circulate on websites in addition to what is seen on television. Although none of this has been verified, the rumors fuel the flames. Some believe Dot is taking accountability, while others believe she is downplaying the harm. If I did something to you, would you accept it? At one moment, Mendeecees turns to face her and asks. Since it takes time to build trust and envy does not go away with understanding, he gets even more agitated. She pauses before answering, and her words don't reassure him. No, to be honest, although I would make an effort to comprehend. As the episode progresses, the tension permeates regular discussions, making even a casual dinner unpleasant. A lighthearted joke feels weighty, and stillness itself becomes suspect. In addition to the moment that goes viral on social media, fans and musicians are astounded by how quickly the mood in their home shifts from warm to vulnerable. I can't accept that right now, Mendeecees states in a quiet chat, because no dramatic departure could ever have the same impact as that cool rejection, without yelling. After he says it, the room remains motionless for a short while, and you can sense the weight bearing down on them both. Later that night, cameras follow them into the kitchen, which, despite being a simple, everyday area, has the atmosphere of a courthouse. No spectacular exit could compare to the horror of that silent rejection. Yandy looks at him somewhat surprised instead of protectively. She could have anticipated rage, perhaps even yelling, but not the soothing voice that provides more closure than rage. Yandy tries to explain what she meant when she stated emotional connection, folding her arms and leaning against the counter. It wasn't love, she claims. It was reassuring. Be careful, she says. Someone was listening to me when I felt alone. So you're by yourself in our marriage now? Ben asks, giving a quick, sardonic chuckle. You can be married and still feel lonely, she shyly remarked. Causes an additional round of remarks on the internet. The question resonates deeply because it calls into question not just her actions, but also their fundamental foundation. Fans are surprised by how honest it seems. Some viewers find it sympathetic, while others see it as an explanation. Mendeecees states, I don't like feeling played. In a confessional that seems out of character for him and acknowledges that pride has always been a big part of who he is. Strong feelings were evoked by videos of that comment that went viral on social media. It disturbs me when I think someone else has access to what should be mine. That phrase again. Mine. Meanwhile, Yandy hooks up with a close friend. Shows a fear of losing control and of being emotionally, if not physically replaced, which goes beyond simple jealousy. Yandy pauses before answering her friend's direct question. Did you go too far? Yes, perhaps on an emotional level. There are advantages and disadvantages to candor. And you didn't think about how he felt about that? The friend presses. Yandy continues, I thought I could handle it, as she looks down. Rather than vanishing as I had expected, it grew until it was inevitable. Another dramatic change of events is caused by rumors that Mendeecees may have voicemailed someone outside the marriage to express their frustration. He makes it clear that these were frustrated texts rather than romantic ones. "I was angry," he remembers. The irony is apparent to onlookers, but it had to be expressed. The family was divided again after a contentious reunion. One relative said, "At least she didn't cheat physically," to which another replied, "Emotional cheating cuts deeper." Though in different ways, they are both searching for ways to communicate their feelings outside of their relationship. Mendeecees takes into account all points of view, yet they don't appear to soothe him. He confronts her again with the visions from Greece in a particularly traumatic incident, breaking his pride in a way that defies logic. "What made you smile that way?" When he asks, she shakes her head angrily. "Since I was trying to breathe when I was away on vacation," he says, advancing. "You don't smile like that with just anybody," she answers. "You don't get to tell me how I grin," and every word seems to have a purpose. The argument is sharp but not explosive. The viewpoints of different fans vary. Mendeecees is overstating things. Online pundits debate if having an emotional bond outside of marriage is a deal-breaker or a sign that something needs to be mended. He took a fair approach according to some, while others disagree. The issue goes beyond the performance itself to include modern relationships. Yandy acknowledges in song that she never intended for the connection to become significant in a private moment captured on tape. She says, "It just happened." She says, "Intent has an effect even if I didn't wake up with the intention of hurting him." She then asks a buddy, "What prevents me from going back there?" Mendeecees may visit there once, and that is what she is returning to. It has to do with trust, not simply this specific situation. It's about wondering if every distant glance and late-night text message, Mendeecees suddenly has meaning. Feelings erupted once more when Yandy recommended counseling. "We require assistance." She continues, "We can't solve this on our own," and he gives her a weary and skeptical expression. "Before you formed an emotional bond, you needed assistance. Despite everything, neither of them leaves," he responds. That comment hurts, and tears are starting to fill up in her eyes. Naturally, there is conflict and unhappiness in music, but every disagreement is clouded by history, years of shared experiences, children, hardships, and triumphs. She reaches for his hand in a single quiet exchange, and he hesitates but doesn't completely draw away. Even if it's a little gesture, it shows that relationships exist despite the animosity. But is there anything worth keeping? Even though neither of them has officially ended their marriage, cameras show them pacing the house like polite strangers the following morning. Despite this, there is more mistrust between them than before, leaving them both confused as to how something invisible could have caused such obvious harm that even the smallest signs of observable damage start to appear. It's not anger, it's just the sensation of being farther away and feeling colder. There's no shouting, no dramatic storming out, just distance. As the program goes on, fans are astonished when she adds, "When he shuts down, that's when I get scared." Yet, "I'm good," is a straightforward remark that captures all the unresolved concerns. When Yandy asks whether he wants a cup of coffee after she makes it, he doesn't look at her. She acknowledges in a confessional that the argument is worse than the silence. "At least I know he still cares enough to fight when he gets loud," she adds, but she is concerned about how long their relationship can last. Mendeecees later runs into another friend who isn't holding back. The friend asks directly, pauses, and then responds, "Yes." "It's not just that she spoke to someone," he continues. "That revelation of who I am is potent because it penetrates the impenetrable facade. Everyone knows about it. The blogs are conscious of his arrogance, frailty, and internal strife. People are staring at me like I lost control of my own house," he says. Yandy decides to take on the narrative in the interim, calling a few close friends together. He is determined to provide an explanation before the whispers grow out of hand. "Have you fallen in love with him?" When a friend asks a quiet question, Yandy shakes her head. "I discovered a location where people understood me." "That's not the same thing as being in love," a different acquaintance tells her. "That's how things sometimes begin." When Mendeecees unexpectedly showed up at the meeting, emotions were running hot, and even those in her tight circle aren't quite convinced. The meeting was silent as the family was split up again. Curiosity draws him in, even if he had no intention of taking part. The atmosphere abruptly changes. This is the support group, then? Glancing around the room, he asks. Your side was meant to be me, Yandy replies, standing up defensively while attempting to remain calm. The remark is serious rather than lighthearted. I'm only summarizing my viewpoint. As they start to confront past scars, the tension builds. He talks about the sacrifices he made in the past and the moments he believed she publicly backed him. In answer, she talks about moments when she felt emotionally deserted. You were physically present here, but sometimes you weren't actually present, she murmurs, echoing his earlier statement. He retreats as though that mirroring has struck him. When a video of a man in Greece making vague comments on relationships and personal growth becomes viral, things take yet another drastic turn. Even if the links are tenuous and indirect, they are made by fans. On social media, Musion's details and theories are boundless. While some claim that the show accentuates small encounters to boost viewers, others think there was a deeper connection than was acknowledged. In any event, the suspicion makes things more tense. Mendeecees eventually lets his guard down later that evening during a cordial session, stating, I don't want to lose you. His remarks seem less defensive and more terrified for the first time. Then don't push me away, Yandy says, her eyes gleaming. Speak with me. But it appears to be harder than ever to succeed. They attempt to have an honest conversation despite the absence of cameras, but fragments are still picked up by microphones. Did you feel something? She says firmly. When he inquires as to whether she has ever thought of a future with the other man, you no longer feel the same way about me? He asks. The silence by itself startles Hans. She hesitates, and her hesitation is more powerful than what she says. The family broke up again after a relative implied that they were both to blame for the breakdown. According to the relative, Mendeecees wriggles because emotional gaps don't just appear, and marriage isn't one-sided. I'm to blame now, he cries. No one is blaming you, and steps in right away. The signals show that as the days pass, the house seems heavier. Everyday conversations contain undertones of suspicion. Yandy answers, but neither of us pays attention. He glances over to check if she is using her phone. He goes outside to take a call and she watches. Trust, which was once taken for granted, now appears fragile. In an open confessional, Mendeecees contemplates forgiveness. He claims that acceptance and forgiveness are not synonymous. I'm not sure whether I can handle this yet, he whispers. The resistance endures even after he makes the case that it aids in your acceptance of what transpired. According to her own interview, Yandy worries that being honest could cost her everything. May have told a falsehood. She admits, I might have flatly refused it, but I didn't want secrets. Communication is the first step in a heated dinner situation, when a simple disagreement over scheduling turns into something more complicated. But she believes that two willing parties are necessary for reconciliation. His motions were raised again. This is what I mean, he goes on. We stopped checking in emotionally, so we no longer even work as a team. She responds. Consequently, the root of every disagreement is now the same. But beneath the suffering are moments of tenderness. A laugh about an old memory. A lengthier look than anticipated. Viewers are reminded of the importance of this connection by those fleeting moments. Supporters are still debating if this is a turning point or a breaking point. Some believe that facing the confessional songs head-on would make them stronger in the end. Some folks think they've already endured a lot of hardship. Whether or not there was an emotional connection is not the question at the end of the performance. It has been acknowledged. Can love, history, and commitment overcome wounded pride and shattered trust? In addition, the ambiguity that exists between them is like a storm that is about to either break or clear the air. As they sit opposite one another once more, everything falls apart.